Hey everybody, I have some very sad and unfortunate news to share with you regarding my Carvin guitar. As of a couple of weeks ago, the guitar is no longer in playing condition and I won't be using it on any more of my gigs or for any of my videos. I made a very careless mistake on a gig a few weeks back that ended up being very costly, and I've been beating myself up over it, but it does happen, unfortunately. So let me explain what happened. I had this gig in Richmond, Virginia a few weeks back, and we got to the venue, we did the sound check, and then we had to go, wait in the green room for a little while before it was time to play. And I brought my guitar with me. I took it out at a certain point. I was just messing around in the green room, and then I put it back into the case. And I have one of these zip-up backpack cases, and I put it in the case, but I didn't zip the case up, just not even thinking anything of it. And then at a certain point, they told us, all right, you guys are going to go on in a few minutes, so, get ready. So I went to pick up the guitar, forgetting that it was unzipped, and I went to put it around my shoulder. And as I did that, I could feel the guitar starting to fall outside of the case, and I panicked. I tried to grab it, but I wasn't able to get it in time. And the guitar landed on its back on the hardwood floor, which was, very traumatic, as anybody who's gone through something like that would know. So I panicked, I picked it up, I inspected it, and at first I couldn't tell if there was any marks or anything on it, but then upon further inspection, I noticed that there was a little line in the wood going through the neck. But it was hard to tell if it was just like a little dent or if it was something that was going through into the wood, if it was something that was fixable or not. So basically, like, the guitar went out of tune a little bit, and I just got it in tune, and I had to just use it. This was right before the gig, so I just had to play the gig with the guitar like that. And that was one of the hardest gigs I've ever had to get through, because the whole time it's just going through my mind, like, all right, did I ruin this guitar? Like, this has been my favorite guitar since I was in high school. I've been using this since I was a junior in high school in 2008. Like, this guitar is my baby, and it's a custom-made guitar. It's something that's really irreplaceable. So, I'm just going through all of these thoughts in my head as I'm playing. And, on top of it all, I could feel the dent, in the wood as I'm playing, because it's behind the neck. So my thumb is just constantly going over that dent. It was just terrible. So as soon as the gig was done, I called my repair guy as quickly as possible. I sent him some pictures of what happened. I'll put the pictures up on the screen so you could see. And he said to me, he goes, it's kind of hard to tell from those pictures if it's fixable or not. It just comes down to whether or not the dent is going through the wood or not, and that's kind of going to determine whether or not this can be fixed. So when I got back to Connecticut, I brought it to him as quick as possible, and he did some inspecting on it and determined that it was going through the wood, unfortunately. But he said, it still could be fixable. Basically, what we have to do is just glue it and clamp it for about a week and just wait and see how it settles and see what ends up coming out of that. So I gave it to him, and he had it for like a week, and that entire week was just torture, just waiting to see what was going to happen. And I was preparing myself for the worst, so in case if the worst happened, it wouldn't be this gigantic letdown. And unfortunately, the worst did end up happening. So he called me, and he was just like, bad news on the guitar, which is already a terrible start. And he goes, bad news, the guitar developed like a hump in the neck, and now there's some like buzzing that's happening on the 4th fret, and it's started to develop on some of the upper frets as well. And I got it back, and it definitely wasn't the same. There was a lot of buzzing. It didn't feel the same when I played it. And so that was basically it. It was very unfortunate and very, very traumatic. Like I said, that guitar has just been my baby for the longest time. I've been using it since I was a junior in high school, and I've used other guitars over the years, but that's always been the main guitar that I've gone back to. But, I'm trying to look on the bright side of things, and what we're going to do moving forward is this friend of mine, my repair guy that I'm telling you about, he's also a luthier, and he makes really great custom guitars. And me and him have been talking about him making a guitar for me for over a year now, and it's just something that we've never gotten around to doing. And if there's anything positive that can come out of this, I'm going to use this as an opportunity for him to build me a custom guitar and try to model it very similar to the Carvin. And there were a couple of reoccurring issues that I kept having with the Carvin over the years regarding like intonation and just some issues with the frets, just from, years and years of playing. I got to a point where I needed to have a lot of work done on the Carvin to get it to the point where I wanted it to be. So hopefully this can be an opportunity to just make a new guitar and eliminate some of those issues that I was having with the Carvin. Like a lot of the intonation issues were coming from the fact that I had a Floyd Rose, which is something that I didn't even use that often. So I think the new guitar, I'm definitely not going to have a Floyd Rose. And hopefully I can get something that's very similar, that matches the feel and the sound of what I had. And he's a great luthier. I'll show you some pictures of some of his work so you can get an idea. His name's Frank Brocklehurst. He's out of Connecticut. And he doesn't have a website currently, but he's in the process of getting one done. And once I have this new guitar, I'll make an announcement about it. I'll tell you about it. Maybe I'll even do a video with him explaining what he did with it and stuff. And but that's basically the plan. So for the time being, I wanted to give you guys a heads up because you're going to notice in all of my future videos, unless it's a video I've made in the past, I have a lot, which is the case with actually a lot of my videos. I make a lot of my videos a month ahead of time. So I do still have some videos that I will be uploading with the Carvin in them, but they are not from the current time. But so for all of the future videos, other than the ones I've recorded in the past, I'm just going to be using the Telecaster for everything. Which is not ideal. I mean, that's another guitar where I do have some issues with the intonation as well. And I've gotten pretty anal over the years with my intonation, especially when I do those two guitar videos, because if there's any spots on the neck that are a little bit off, it really can get exposed in those two guitar videos. Because I notice if I'm doing stuff with just one guitar, a lot of times, you can kind of get away with it and it's not really noticeable. But if you have two guitars side to side, that are supposed to be, completely in tune with one another, if anything even gets the littlest bit off, it's very noticeable. So, my Tele is not the greatest for that. It's just a Mexican thin line Tele. But for the time being, that's what I'm going to be using. And hopefully within the next couple of months, I'll have a great new custom guitar that I'll be excited to announce to you and let you know some of the info regarding like how it was built and some of the specs and all of that. So that's the story. It was pretty upsetting, as I'm sure you can imagine. I'm sure plenty of you have been in similar situations to me. I've seen plenty of pictures on social media of people, screwing up their guitars and trying to see if it could be fixable or not. And not a fun position to be in. So that is the story. So rest in peace to my Carvin, 2008 to 2021. Absolutely loved that guitar. I can't say enough good things about it. But hopefully this new custom guitar will be able to fill that void and, like I said, improve on some of the issues that I was having with the Carvin. So that is the story. Thanks a lot for watching, and stay tuned for the new custom guitar within the coming months. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.